Howdy, y'all. It's Kathy from Rust Paper Scissors, and I'm filming today. Snowed in Texas, and we've had quite the winter storm this weekend. But I wanted to do a quick video highlighting a couple of new items that I'm going to have for sale in my shop. And then at the end of the video, I want to do a quick little tutorial on how to make gusseted pockets or envelopes. It's very easy. I was really excited when I saw this tutorial. I'll try and link it below. I can't remember the name of the lady that did it, but I will link that below. But what I wanted to do this year was to use up some of my stash. I am lucky enough to have a friend who has just recently closed a used bookstore, and she looks for special books for me, like children's books, just old books, and she also collects the library cards for me. And so I have quite a stash, and I wanted to use them up this year. And I thought maybe if I made some book bundles, book page bundles, people could enjoy some of the things that I have. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I have two different types of book bundles. I have just a random selection of children's books and just old vintage books, and then I have a book bundle of strictly just children's readers and books. So I want to distinguish between the two. But I wanted to talk a little bit. I do my journals a little bit different, and wanted to explain my thought process behind it. First of all, let me say that these are just the library cards that I'm including in the book bundle. It's just random vintage library cards that I have, and then I have the library card holders. So those come with the book pages. But the book pages are all vintage books. It's all pretty in a neutral palette. Most of the books, I will say, are mid-century. The music paper that is back here, this paper is from a book that the copyright says 1894. But I wanted to talk about, when I make a journal, I like for my pages to be where you could read them if you wanted to, and I like to use whole pages. So in a journal, I would like to use a whole, like a page from a book, but it's the whole page. And so what I do when I take the books apart is I try to keep the signatures together. So this is a signature from a book, and then if I wanted to use this in my journal, I would reinforce the spine here with some tape, and then you have a whole page spread that you can put in your journal. That's just the way I like to use them. But you can take them apart and just use them individually however you want. But I wanted to show you, this is from a children's book. And those books are put together. They are sewn, stapled, and glued. I have been going crazy getting some of these books apart. But, and that may bother you, and you may not want to have that on there. And all you do would just be trim it off. But again, I like having the whole page spread, so that doesn't bother me. And again, I might reinforce it with some tape. But I just wanted to just show you the different signatures. So each one of these bundles has several signatures, about, I believe it's 9 different signatures. This is just some dictionary page. This is a signature on a dictionary page. And then the last one is the large music page. it's a variety. No two are alike. They're all different. It's just random. It's this bundle has about over 100 pages, and then the children's bundle is just, again, a variety of pages. There's the library cards and the holders that comes with it, and then in some of this bundle, the pages are oh, that's not even a page. The pages are individual. They're not. Some of them are just individual. So, but then this is a signature from a child's book, and then this is another signature, and some of them there will be individual pages, and so this book was a book that just had individual pages. That wasn't a signature, but you could tape them together if you wanted and make a full page spread, or use them, fold them this way and use them in your book. So that's just an example of what is in a children's bundle. So those are the two different bundles. I have 9 each of just the regular ones, and then 9 of the children's books. So what I wanted to talk about was what you can do with these pages, and there's so many things you can do, and I just wanted to show. I made several tags and then pockets, but this is just one of the library cards, and I added a Beatrix Potter image onto it, and then the back you could just journal on it. These are just some examples of tags made with just book pages from the bundle, and these again are just the basis for a tag, and you could add your focal point, you could collage on it, however you wanted to use them. And then this is just one of the music pages. Then I also made some coin envelopes, and I took a page that I wasn't particularly crazy about, and when you fold it up and make a little pocket, it changes it, and I liked it once it was folded up, and I felt like I could use it on a page. You could add it to a page in a journal. So that was an example. This is an example of a pocket that I made that's the gusseted pocket, and I'll show you how I make those. And again, this wasn't an image I was really crazy about, but when you fold it up and change it, I liked it. So that was an example. Then this was, again, just this was a full page from a book, and it's really too long of an envelope, a tuck spot, but you could put a letter or something in there, maybe writing paper. So just, again, another example of just a book page that turned into an envelope. And then I made this from a large book, and sometimes, when you make something, you come back to it and you think, oh, I should have trimmed the edge of this book page. I didn't like that it's rough there. So, but I'd already glued it together. But what you could do is you could add a piece of washi tape, or you can change it. What I'm trying to say is, we're alone in the craft room. You can fix any mistakes that you make. So don't feel like, oh, I made a mistake, I can't, use it now. You can fix it. Then, so that's just that one. Then this was the coin envelope that I made. That's the gusseted envelope, and I really like this. I'm going to demonstrate how I make this. This is very easy, and I really, really like those. Then this was an example. I had a very small book. This is an old Beatrix Potter book, and I wanted to use it. I cut out this image from the Beatrix Potter book, and I wanted to put it onto a book page. So what I did was, again, I made a little gusseted tuck spot. And so just from this small page, I was able to make that. And again, I think that would look really cute, on in a journal page. And it's big enough to hold a tag. The tag slips in there, and just very easy. And then this is another example of changing your mind after you've made something. I cut out this little image of Dumbo. I loved the Dumbo book as a child. And I just added it to a tag with a wobble mechanism. And then I came back to it the next day and thought, oh, I wish I had put some kind of writing or something on the tag behind it. Now you could stamp Dumbo on there, or you could change it any way you wanted. But what I decided to do was I took another book page and I cut it down to size. And then I lined it up with where it would be and where the wobble mechanism is. And I made 2 holes with my crocodile. And then I just cut it out and cut along there. And then that allows me to slip this into the... It's harder to do on camera. Slip it in to the page, and then I could glue it down, and now I have a totally different tag that has the book page on there. And so, I want to encourage you to, embrace your mistakes. Don't let them defeat you, and I don't feel like everything has to be perfect. So what I wanted to demonstrate today was I wanted to demonstrate how to make this gusseted tuck spot, and then also how to make the gusseted envelope. So let's start with the envelope because it's really easy. What I did was I took a piece of ledger paper and I decide which side I want front and back to be. Then all you're going to do is I kind of try to find the center of the page. And then I'm going to try and line this up pretty close to the center. And you want to take your time and you want to get it even. And then all you do is just, crease it. And then I'm going to take this side, and I don't want it to fold over too much because I want to make my tag as large as possible. So I'm going to try and go about there, and I try and line it up so it's pretty even, if you can see. And then, okay, now here's the trick. So that's going to be my envelope. It's going to overlap just a little here, if you can see. Then you could use a scoreboard, or I'm just going to eyeball it. But I want just a very small fold. And I'm just going to fold it over and just make it make it pretty small because I don't need a big gusset. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Just going to fold it over. And this is an easy page to do it with because it has lines on it. And you can kind of line up the paper. Okay, so now I have it folded up. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to decide how long I want the envelope. So I'm going to fold it up about, let's say, a little over an inch. Again, you could measure and do it that way, but to me it's just easy to do it this way. And then I'm going to fold down the top, and again I want about an inch. So I'm going to fold it probably down to this pink line. Just try and get it as straight as possible. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is what I learned from Which Craft Do You Do? I'm going to take my corner rounder and I'm just going to put this bottom part in there. And I'm also going to do the top. Hold on. Let me get that in there better. Okay. And what that does is that gives you a visual onto where you're going to cut your lines. So we're going to cut this portion of the envelope out because we don't want it so thick, and I'm going to cut this part of the top off because, again, I don't want it so thick. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors, and I like to, this is the line where you're going to cut, but I like to kind of cut at an angle. So I cut down and I cut all the way over to this, and then we're going to cut this one just on the fold. So I'm trying to see where that fold is. I'm having a hard time. So there, okay. And then I'm going to cut this side. I'm going to angle it a little bit, just so it doesn't, it folds easier. And then I'm going to cut right along that line. Okay. And then same up here. I want to angle it this way. I'm going to go all the way to there. And then we're going to just cut down here. Okay. And then again, I'm going to angle. And cut all the way over to there. And then we're going to cut right to there. Okay. So now you have your coin envelope, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in, and then I'm going to fold this center one out, and then I'm going to fold this other one back in. So now you have your mountain fold on the mountains on the inside of your envelope. Let me do that again. So we're going to fold it over. And again, you could use your bone folder to make it really thin. And then I'm going to take that middle fold and fold it back out. And then I'm going to take this one and fold it back over. So now we have the envelope, and all we have to do is glue it together, and we'll see what it looks like. Now see, I might want to trim this. I didn't get real even right here, so I'm going to trim this a little bit more. I'm going to angle it just a little bit more, and see, that meets up a little bit better there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little glue, and I'm just going to glue along the edge, and I like to hold it down and then hold it down on both sides. Okay, and then I like to round the edges here. I forgot to do that a minute ago. Go in and round those. You could angle them. You could, you know, do them any way you want. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this end up. Just quickly. Then you have this. And now you have a gusseted coin envelope to add to your junk journals. And I thought that was just so easy, so brilliant. Again, I will try and find that video and link it below. But this is how you could just do a tuck spot. Just a second, I'm going to stop. Okay, this is just a little gusseted tuck spot we're going to make. And all I did was I took a large sheet. This was from a workbook. And I cut it down. I cut it in half. And then I cut it down to, I think it's 6 by 5. Because I wanted it 4 by 4. So I wanted this to be a square. So I cut this down to 6 by 5. And then all I'm going to do is, on this one, I'm just going to use a scoreboard because it's easier. And I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And then 1 inch. I'm not really sure if you can see me. Okay, and then we're going to score, this paper's pretty thin. I'm going to score this at 1 inch. Okay. So all I'm going to do is fold these over. It's hard to see on this paper. You want it to be just so. I want it to be just so. Okay. Then all I'm going to do is kind of cut out this square. Just so there's not so much bulk. And then on this one, what I did was I have it folded here, and then I'm going to just fold this back on itself. And you could, use the scoreboard if you wanted, but I just find it's easier just to quickly do that, and then you're going to fold this one back on itself. Okay, and then all you would do is glue this together and attach it to your journal, and you have a gusseted pocket for your journal. And again, it would hold a tag. It would hold a little thicker tag that maybe had something, special on there. So it's just if you ever need just a little extra room in your tuck spots, or if you want to make a coin envelope that's gusseted, that's how you do it. So I appreciate your time. I would appreciate it if you left me a comment. If you have any questions, please message me, and I will answer. And I just, again, appreciate your time, and thank you very much.